Hope this thing works this time. Alright, let's give this a shot. Welcome to Warhammer Workshop, and today we are doing another unboxing for you. We have the pleasure to bring you the brand new Kill Team box. Whoop, wrong one. The brand new... Nope. You again? The new got it. The brand new Kill Team box. Kill Team Moroch. Why am I like this? As with all the other Kill Team boxes, this is a pretty thick one, probably because of all the scenery. If you've seen the preview for it, you'll know that the scenery that comes with it is nothing new, but it is fairly massive. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this is scenery that's going to be perfect for my 40K collection. And by 40K collection, I mean a bunch of scenery I haven't really built or painted yet that I've been wishing to. But it's become a little pointless making my own scenery because the local game shop has a lot of cool things already. Regardless, I will eventually get to it. It's just, I mean, you guys are hobbyists, so you know what this means. Now, we get some Traitor Guards. All these are new models, except for these two guys, which are part of the Traitor Command for Blackstone Fortress. So it's kind of cool to see them back in circulation. I think it's the first time that we're seeing, apart from scenery, recycled models from previous casts in Kill Team. I'm not necessarily offended by it. These are cool models. It's great to see them back in circulation. And we have a bunch of Primaris Space Marines. I want to complain because I am not a Space Marine player and I feel like Space Marines are everywhere. But in all fairness, this is the very first time that we're seeing Space Marines in one of the many boxes that we've got for Kill Team. So in a way, it's almost about time. And while these seem to be very standard Primaris, they all come with some really cool looking options. One of them seems to be a medic, which I'm weirdly excited about. So let's crack this guy open. This is one of those sturdy, very thick corrugated cardboard boxes. We don't see them very often. Oh, I almost created a disaster here by opening this backwards. And as much as I appreciate the slapstick of it, that's not what I'm going for. All right, well, right off the bat, this is the first time I open a box with this particular type of scenery. And I don't think I've ever seen a piece, from Games Workshop at least, a piece of injection mold plastic that doesn't come on a sprue. It's just this one massive chunk. And I'm actually kind of impressed because there doesn't seem to be any mold marks or anything. This thing is ready to go. This is pretty cool. All right, well, setting that aside, let's quickly go through the scenery. I have to admit, I've lost my eye for scale when it comes to scenery. Every time this happened in the previous unboxing, we were looking at the Ash Waste box. All the scenery was bigger than I expected, and this is happening again. This is the same thing. I didn't really expect this scale. Maybe it has to do with how the models seem to be getting bigger, so when I see them on the box, I'm thinking 3rd edition scale models, so I'm not expecting the scenery to be this large. But yeah, and this is again, like, this is always very detailed, which is, it's a trap, right? You get this really cool scenery and then you want to paint it to the same standard as you paint your figs, and you end up just painting forever something that's not even an active part. Like, we used to just put books under a piece of green felt and we call that a hill, and now we get, this is probably the heaviest sprue I've ever held. We get this really cool, very detailed scenery, and you want to do it justice, but at the same time, if you're like me, you've got 3 or 4 other projects waiting around. So I honestly, of this Kill Team box, I think the only thing that I'm going to be focusing on is the scenery because I think it's just really dope. But that doesn't mean I'm not impressed with what we've been shown so far for the rest. So these look to be the sprues for the Primaris Space Marines. Now I gotta give it to Games Workshop. there's something about them doing Space Marines over and over and over again. These are the most well-organized sprues I've not ever seen. I remember the sprues that they had for some of the Horus Heresy plastics were even more regimented. But look at how well the real estate on these frames is taken up. It's impressive and intimidating and almost annoying that they're not doing the same. But then again, compared to some other, like we'll get into some other figs, like these are every single piece, every single limb, it's its own thing. This is kind of old school in a way. This is this kind of thing that you used to see back when we didn't have as dynamic models. This tiny sprue has got a shield, like we've seen the dude on the back of the box. It's a very cool piece. I'm wondering why it's on its own frame, because when I saw this frame initially, you saw my hesitation. My reaction was, well, this is probably a character frame. We see these often in these box sets. You get one tiny frame like that, it's a character or two, and they're usually like the special edition, the limited fig that you get with the box set. This isn't the case. This is just a bunch of heads and pieces that I don't know if they just didn't fit on the other's frames, or if because they're probably not. They're definitely not specifically Chaos, because everything else is specifically Chaos. You see the Chaos Cross, etc. They're not as fractured as the Primaris Space Marine. Like every body is its own dynamic pose. You can see it from the position they have. So you get the legs and back, and then you have to put the proper front. I mean, I guess thematically it works because this is a far more chaotic sprue than what we had for the Primaris Space Marines. And everything looks, I mean, that's the thing, right? I don't play Traitor Guard. I don't think there's a Traitor Guard to be played, so this makes it a very strange box to have. Then again, I don't have a Chaos Codex yet, so maybe Chaos Space Marines will have an option for Traitor Guards. Maybe when the Astra Militarum book comes out, they'll have an option to make them into Traitor Guards, and these will become relevant. We've seen Games Workshop do some pretty fun things with keywords and exchanging keywords that it's not necessarily out of the realm of possibilities. So we've got another frame. This one still Chaos. Chaos? No, this is a frame for the Primaris Space Marines. Servo Skull, which is always a favorite. One day I'm just gonna make an army of Servo Skulls. And this seems to be a lot of the pieces that are different from your typical Primaris Space Marines. I wish I knew Primaris Space Marines better to know if the other sprue was just recycled intercessors, and this was the only frame that really made them different. This is where my knowledge of Space Marines is limited, and shouldn't be, because I'm a 40k player and 40k should mean Space Marines. It's just not how I roll. I roll Xenos.
It's Phobos armor, JF. Arguably the coolest Primaris armor out there, and somehow you missed it.
So, and this is the exact sprue that you get from Traitor Command for Blackstone Fortress. So you got the amazing, really fantastic Ogryn, and this cool, badass looking Chaos Commissar, Traitor Commissar. I'm definitely going to be painting those guys. And then more sprues for the scenery. This thing is massive. I guess that's one of the things that they can afford to do when they're doing these Kill Team boxes, is since they've got that much room just to give us these huge pieces of scenery. Oh, well, not one of my favorite things to happen, but there's a head. So I guess I'll hopefully not get lost. I've mentioned before, and I'll never get tired of mentioning it, I love that they're protecting the books with it's not the coolest artwork. Usually they give us something that's almost worthy of framing in these things, but this is just a variant on the cover. And then you have the Moroch book, which has, I'm assuming, stats for everything that we've seen so far. We'll crack it open in a second to have a look. My favorite, decals. I love water slide decals. You can barely see them because of the light, but If you're familiar, these are not for the Traitor Guards. These are definitely for the Space Marines. So you've got all your typical symbols, a bunch of Roman numerals, all that cool stuff, which it just says Ultramarines Infantry Transfer Sheet. I'm not even sure if these were updated for Intercessors Primaris, but I don't know what this piece of paper is. Base for the Ogryn. Now, there we go. So I was wondering, because I know that if you look at the sprue for it, the Traitor Commissar is another throwback. It is made for a slaughter base. So seeing that the Ogryn base was independent because it's got these hexagonal holes to put it in, like one of them's for a foot, the other one's for a skull. And so I was wondering if the slaughter base was going to be separate somewhere in the box, but no, they have it in the bag right here under the glare. So yeah, I mean, these are your butt bases, standard stuff. Here's my head, another piece of plastic, random, and yet another board. This is the thing that, in a way, is kind of weird. Well, it's not weird, but it's interesting that they used to sell boards, and I feel like they stopped specifically because we're just getting them everywhere now. You can't get a box without getting a bunch of boards, and if you've been playing this for a while, you probably have enough as is, and you don't necessarily need more. All right, so let's crack this open, have a quick look inside the book. I gotta get back into more Kill Team. When it first came out, was really excited, played a few games. It's a really fun system, but I haven't had time because I keep bouncing back between game systems. So, I mean, if you've opened a Kill Team box before, you're familiar with what you're gonna get here. It's basically the instructions on how to assemble everything. This is Piece H, I guess. It's such a big freaking chunk of plastic. So, start with the Intercessors. They have a bunch of options. One day they're just going to run out of colors for these various options that they're offering for Space Marines just because they're so versatile. Which is probably one of the reasons why I should do Space Marines, and probably one of the reasons why I don't. I hate locking myself into options if I have them, and there's no way I'm magnetizing a bunch of Space Marines. And then you have the Traitor Command stuff. The Traitor Guards. I'm really hoping we do see Traitor Guards in some official fashion. I hate to see these models be quote-unquote wasted. The real important thing, the really interesting, is the book itself, the Moroch, Kill Team Moroch. I'm not necessarily going to go into too much detail. Unfortunately, the glare doesn't permit, well, you know what, for copyright reasons, it's probably best that the glare doesn't allow for the text to really show well. So we do have some information about Militarum Traitoris. I doubt that there's going to be anything for 40k in there, but it's good to have a bit of the background. And depending on how deep they go into this background, usually it's a good hint of whether or not they're going to be concentrating on that or not. So you get your typical fluff things, giving them names. Then you have the rules for Traitor Guards. Same thing for the Space Marines. Probably some background also I skipped over, but background about what Moroch is about. Yeah, it's interesting. It's fun to finally be getting a Space Marine specific kill team, not just generic grab your models and play, but really something that has some rules for specific agents. And then you have the Kill Team Moroch. Yes, exactly. This is the kind of stuff I'm looking for, is specific rules on how to use the scenery itself, because that makes the scenery more important, more dynamic. And I love how they have these graphics where they outline what every section is, so that you understand how the rule is going to behave compared to your models. All in all, I'm looking forward to building this scenery, using these rules, and playing them with some of the kill teams I already own. I need to finish, I was playing around, joking around with the boxes earlier, but I still need to finish my commandos from the original Octarius book. This seems to be a very typical Kill Team starter box. It is, as always, very impressive as far as how much they put in there. The price point, I'm assuming, will be a little higher than what we've seen Kill Team boxes be so far, if only because Prices have been going up over everything these days, which is disappointing, but to be expected. If you're going to be picking this up and you're starting in Kill Team, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It really has everything you need to get started. That's it, guys. That's the new Kill Team Moroch. Now, because I'm really fast at building things, while we were talking and while I was describing things, I prepared the two I'll be painting later this week. It's the Corrupted Commissar, well, Traitor Commissar and Traitor Ogren. I didn't take them at all from a previous box that I had for Blackstone Fortress, the Traitor Command box. I mean, they're exactly the same models, but why would I do that? So I'll be painting this next week. Hopefully I'll have some results at the end of this video to show you. And until then, well, enjoy your gaming and thank you for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping us a like and subscribing. Thanks for watching. Materials shown in this video are provided fully or in part by Games Workshop for promotional purposes.